Waiting.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Welcome to our neck of the woods. How are you guys doing today? It's good to see y'all. I'm just gonna, pop off the camera. So hopefully we're gonna have some friends come up and talk with us today. There's Pappy. Hi, Pappy. Good to see you. Love folks. Good to see you. I figured we let a couple folks jump in here before we got started on the conversation. Actually, I can probably post. Uh, Pappy, would you like to come up and join us today? If so, I can pop the link into the chat and then I'll just remove it after you get in here. If you're interested. No?
Howdy, Puppy.
All right. Well, I guess we just start talking about this one. Oh, look, there we go. Boy, we were
Hey,
laggy.
Hey, Nathan.
Good to see you guys.
Tim, good to see you.
Yeah, it's very good to see y'all. Lovely you guys to join us. You know, it's been erratic lately. So, guys want to talk about swamp gas? So I feel like that's what we're all getting. Swamp gas.
Pretty much.
Picture that scene in Men in Black where they hold up the little memory eraser to the crowd and they zap everybody and they say it was
swamp gas.
It was a swamp gas explosion. Ah, right on, Nathan. All right. Go ahead and I'll pop it in here. There's Robert. There we go. Big brother.
Say something so I can tell.
Hello,
Hello, hello.
Okay.
Are you trying the computer or are you on the phone?
I'm on the computer.
All right.
All right.
Now let me see you.
Hi, LHS. Good to see you, hon. Chuck. Wow. I'm glad to see you guys here. Thanks for coming by and giving us your support. We appreciate it.
That's right. Stand up, shake it off. Shake it off.
I told you I was going to name it Swamp Gas.
So who?
All right. Yes, we did, B-Dog. We missed her a lot. It is good to see you.
Hi, daughter. How you doing? Good to see you.
There's Pappy. It is good.
Hi, daughter. How you doing? Good to see you.
Hi, Pappy.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hi, Pappy.
Sound worn
Hey,
out.
Robert. Yeah,
So
Heather, everybody in chat.
Sound
Hi,
like you just
Pappy.
woke up, Pappy. Feeling so hot.
No, I had some bronchitis this week.
Yep.
Oh. Are you feeling better?
Oh yeah, I've been doing my inhalation stuff for the last 2 days. Pretty well knocked it right out, but had to reschedule my oncology stuff for the last week of the month.
Well, gotta be healthy to be able to go do it, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not feeling bad. I just started with that bronchitis, so I got on top of it, and of course, everybody's so scared about everything now. They want you to stay home for 10 days anyways before they'll see you. So.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Chuck. B
Hey,
Dog's
Chuck.
in the house.
LHS.
Nathan's in the house.
Nathan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dawn. I saw Dawn earlier. Yeah.
Oh, did you? I didn't. Ours froze up a little bit here, and then everything started
Okay.
popping up. But it
First
is
time on-
really good to see you
I don't
guys.
see Dawn at all.
First time using a computer, Peppy.
I'm not getting notifications on hardly anything anymore, and I'm on my computer, so I don't know what the heck's going on.
Well,
Yeah, we get that too.
that happens to a lot of people, and they say that the cure for it is you go in and you unsubscribe, and then you resubscribe and hit all notifications again, and it works for a little while, and then
You
YouTube
gotta
shuts
do
it
it
all
again.
down again, and then you got to go do it again. So I don't
Well,
know if that's helpful.
I could understand if it's one or two channels, but I don't get notifications for most of the channels anymore, unless
Oh,
I
wow.
open up the YouTube and I hit the notification bell, and then I can get them.
Yeah.
Hey, Tim's in the house. Hey, Tim. Good to see you.
Daily. Yeah, right, B Dog. Yeah, it's been a hit and miss type of month and a half here or so for us. But we've been getting stuff done, so
I know. Fallout. Good game.
So now I can see chat. Now how do you I don't see how you how like Chuck.
I don't
he's-
think you can post a comment in there as a guest.
Yeah.
You'd have to have a YouTube, like
I
the
thought Chuck- I
YouTube
thought-
show open in another tab in order to be able to post in chat.
Oh, you have to have YouTube open in another thing. Ah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then you can pause
You
the
can still,
video
you know,
or
chat. Yeah.
well, actually, don't pause the video, just mute it, and then the chat flows.
Yeah, you open up that other tab for YouTube there while you're on your laptop, Robert. Make sure you mute it, otherwise you'll get feedback all over the place.
Yes.
Well, we were wondering about how you were doing, Pappy, and I'm very glad to see you and hear you today. Even if you sound a little gravelly, little grumpy. I know you're not grumpy, but you know that gravel always sounds grumpy.
Yeah.
You guys, be quiet.
Yeah, let's just say that my singing voice isn't here, that's for sure.
That's okay. It'll be nice and rich again before too long. How you doing, Badger?
I'm still on top of the grass, letting it tickle my feet. I guess as long as I ain't feeding it, everything's good.
There you
Oh,
go.
good.
Good to hear you, Pappy. If anything, you can tell that your voice is deeper. You're kind of got that like I'm just wore out sound.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, it probably would have been a lot worse if I didn't jump on it the first day, you know. So I swear by that steam inhalation. I
Oh,
get my
yeah.
concoction going on the top of the stove and it knocks it right out within a couple of days.
I had a few days of something where it's burning my eyes and nose, and I was sneezing. And I started taking that worse stuff, and it seemed to do. All that is like a herbal stuff that I guess boosts your immune system.
I have. I use a salt inhaler when I start feeling any kind of respiratory issues because mine almost always goes straight into my lungs, and I get incapacitated for quite some time. But I'm going to show it to you. And I use this a lot. But Pappy's right. This steam treatments work. All right,
Oh,
so this
Blackway.
is. You see this?
What is that?
This is called a
Oh.
salt inhaler, and you got another ceramic disc like this is. Oh no, I'm sorry. It's actually just open on the inside. And then the bottom is.
Camera.
Yeah, hold on a second.
We can't see.
I know we have a terrible camera.
There you go.
All
That's
right.
a little better.
So
Oh yeah.
this
That
this
looks
is
like
the
a
one.
funnel
This is
for
just the
your
one
dad.
that I have.
yeah.
And you put your sea salt, Celtic sea salt, or pink Himalayan salt, and not the finely ground stuff. You want the chunky
Rock
stuff.
salt, yeah.
You want rock, yeah. And then you breathe in through your mouth, and then you breathe it out through your nose, so that the minerals and the salt content and stuff can really get all the bacteria from your sinuses and in your lungs.
Works good.
But this is what I like to use. This works for me very well.
Kind of works from backwards version of that teapot thing you pour it through your nose and it's supposed to come out the other nostril.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a
This is just
this
dry.
is a no this is no fail. It's dry. So long as you keep your salt dry and you keep that it comes with a little carrying bag, but
You had that too, Chuck?
What, that?
Bronchitis?
I was feeling bad, and I listened to what an old lady said the other day. She told me to boil some real salty cabbage and carrots and put some chicken in it. She goes, you can eat it when you're done, but stay in there in the kitchen around that cabbage and chicken and carrot boiling. She goes, it'll clear you right up.
Oh, yeah.
Well, a lot of those things are antimicrobial, you know, and of course when they boil, it gets in the air, you breathe it in. That's the whole thing of that working, you know. I've got a neti pot here, but I'm not going to use it. I'm sure that's what they develop waterboarding from. I no way I'm going to drown myself.
It's a weird
Yeah,
thing.
neti pot. If you're a dingbat, you'll drown yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Well,
that would be
if
me.
you don't use the neti pot properly, you don't get the clearing. You end up pushing it down, and you can cause more
Actually,
damage if you're
more
not
damage,
using
yeah.
it properly.
Yeah. I
But
used it
it
once.
does work used properly.
Yeah, it did feel better once. I did it when I tried it several times. I think a couple times it worked. I felt it good, but you got to do it right. Definitely.
I asked my pharmacist about that one they got that's automatic. It creates a suction on one side and pulls it through.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, but if you're too badly congested, he goes, that can damage your clavicle. So the suction
okay.
would pull hard on one side of it. I could see that. I guess it could have messed. Yeah.
Yeah,
This-
if those passages
this cost-
get blocked in there, you can cause an air blockage, and what happens is that you can overinflate one section, you know, or create a vacuum in another section, and that interferes with the blood flow. I've heard of people blowing out their eardrums because the eustachian tube that runs from your ears to your throat gets clogged up like that. And that pressure, well, that's what happened to me. I blew out my eardrum, my right eardrum, when I was scuba diving one time because one of my tubes blocked up. So you got to be careful about putting pressure in your sinuses.
Yeah. See, I like this. There's no electric. There's no chemicals. I can put herbs in this if I want. Rosemary. I know you guys have heard Pappy talk about it, but like rosemary and sage, you could dry inhale rosemary and sage so long as it's not a fine powder. You know, if you have the leaf, you can put it in here with the salt. You can do
I think
amazing
basil's
things.
another
with
good one too, isn't it? Put it,
Basil?
Basil's good for
Yeah.
digestive
Good for
issues.
digestive, yeah.
Add it to anything that gives you an upset stomach and it'll help, or that gives you gas and it'll help. I'm not sure about any kind of antimicrobial properties of basil, but I do know when you use it in conjunction with other herbs, it can be beneficial.
my dad had a hiatal hernia and a bunch of other stomach issues. And he used to at night. He swore by it. I don't know what worked about it, but the old Super Sugar Crisp cereal, he'd eat a bowl of that before bed. And he said it'd keep his stomach all in check. I don't know if it's the sweetness in it, the honey in it, if it was the actual oats in it, or
That's right.
Hey, Jim.
That's right. Originated with
Chuck,
honey
you better
butter.
write this shit down, man.
or if the comfort food aspect of it maybe relaxed him where it didn't bother him. I don't know.
Fucking Chuck's
Could
got
be
a
too, yeah.
Chuck's got a remedy book he could make.
Yeah, And my old man, Tennessee stuff, I guess that's hillbilly stuff, maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know.
You know, people say a lot of stuff, hillbilly stuff, but what they're really saying is these are things that have been lost according to modern medicine,
Yeah.
and nobody uses them anymore. But that's the knowledge that we should all be carrying in and passing along. Well, some of it, like you got to know that blowing cigarette smoke in somebody's ear when they have an ear infection is not a cure. It doesn't help.
Not a cure. No.
It adds to the problem. But you know, you got to weed out what works and what doesn't.
I remember him holding a cigar up to my ear, and he said it ain't putting the smoke in. He said the heat's putting a little draw on it. It'll pull that stuff out of your ear. I don't know how true that was either, but
I
it
heard
was
that before.
my earache.
I heard that before.
There's a friend of mine. He used to do. It was like they called it a little tube, and you put it down on top of your ear, and you like kind of the same thing with a cigar, and you light the paper, and it draws the wax from the heat, and you only light it for a second, and then it supposedly is supposed to draw the wax out of your. And it works. I've seen it work. I don't know
Yeah,
how
my
well.
Your
cousin
candles,
talked
yeah.
about
Yeah,
that.
I don't know. I'd
He said
want
the Asians do a lot of that. They swear to the one thing bad though, you don't want you set your hair on fire.
That's why you see a lot of them bald.
Bottom where they stick it in your ear. That way,
Won't burn it.
yeah.
Yeah.
He said they got a little thing they strap to your ear that way it won't burn.
Yeah. It's funny.
That lady
Right.
told me about that chicken soup with the cabbage. She goes, the noodle part of chicken soup being good for you isn't good. She goes, that's the comfort part. He said, you leave the noodles out of it. All your healing is in the onion, the carrot, and the chicken and the cabbage. She goes,
Yep. All your healing's in the vegetables and broth. And
Hello, everybody.
you can add
I love
herbs
pugs.
into that too to get the medicinal properties of the herbs as well, like rosemary, like sage.
that's what she said. Add what you like.
Well, but if you understand that certain herbs have certain properties, you can up that and the flavor, all at the same time. So,
Unless you got picky kids like mine. I don't know how picky yours are, but if he smelled rosemary, he'd be like, it smells like a Christmas tree. I could just hear it now. But he's picky. His meats are chicken, pork chops, ribs, hot dogs. I just now recently got him. He'll eat some lunch meats. It's all usually based around honey ham.
Yeah.
He just now just watched us eat baked potatoes last night, and he goes, that might be interesting because you guys put French onion chip dip on it. He goes, I'd probably like that.
Well, probably most people would.
Yeah. I'm trying to.
no doubt. No doubt. Well, you guys want to talk about? It's lovely. I love talking about herbal remedies and other problem-solving things that we can do naturally. I wanted to talk a little bit today, tiny bit, if you guys are interested, in about the swamp gas that we're all getting fed. The whole look this way and not that way type of stuff, and I feel like it's
Can't hear you too well.
oh, sorry, give me a
Yeah,
moment.
give her a minute.
Did you hear about the expert farmer? He was outstanding in his field.
Yeah. That joke years ago, that was a good one. I remember that back when I was about 8 years old, 9 years old.
Yeah, that joke should come with a can of that squirt cheese, huh?
Happy, is it cold by you guys?
Well, it was 10 degrees this morning, but now it's warming up a little bit today, about 40.
It was cold last night.
Yeah, it almost felt like an I went out this morning and I was like, wow, it almost feels like Easter. It's really nice, but it's just got that little nip in the air, which is about what Easter turns out to be in Ohio, no matter what month it falls in.
Yeah. Well, that
they
stiff
said the-
breeze today makes it colder than it really is.
Yeah, they were saying our low for last night was supposed to be 21. It was roughly around 8 o'clock and it was 21. And later on, I get on and I went to see what the low was going to be for the night. And here it said 21 and it was already up to 23.
You got any full ditches out there? Water? You got any full water ditches out there around you? Creeks?
No, everything's draining real well.
I was gonna say that's kind of weather you can go out there and get your polar bear certificate.
Yeah.
We have a pond.
I remember they used to do that up in Cleveland. A bunch of buddies of mine want to know if I want to do it. I said, no, I'm good. I'll just go with you.
They do that up there. They still do it.
I'm like, no.
Not me. I couldn't do it.
My son.
Yeah.
My back would lock up so fast I wouldn't walk for 2 weeks.
They then I think they moved it from one spot in Cleveland, which they call Port Clinton. And
Yeah.
they're doing it there now, right off the beach.
Somebody told me they're doing it like Toledo, Putin Bay too, somewhere in that area. They got a
Yeah,
bunch.
that's
Of,
I believe it.
that's what the Port Clinton. That's the port. That's where taking the ferries over to to the Kelly's Island.
they set up a giant like fishing camp thing over. They go ice fishing, but before anybody ice fishes, after they cut the hole, they all get baptized.
They all
I guess
jump in.
I'm good. I ain't going fishing.
Not me.
Gotta scare the fish away.
I got chill bumps now thinking about it.
No way.
Yep. Sure, that's where the
Maybe.
guy come up with the idea of the shrinky dink.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I stepped in ice and went waist deep in ice, and then I had about a 2-mile walk through the woods home. And I remember exactly how that feels when I was like 8.
No, yeah.
And
I fell
Mom's
into
like,
a
you
pond
could
when I was about 8. Yep.
doing the same stupid. And I was alone, and I was way out in the woods. And Mom goes, "You shouldn't even walk on ice by yourself." She goes, "You could have been stuck there, and nobody found you till the spring."
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
The things we did as kids,
Raina's like that. She'll get in cold water, like ice cold water. She doesn't care. She's a polar. She loves it for sure. More power to her. She's always
And
like,
bitch-
"Mom, won't you come get in?" And I'm like, "No, not until it's 30 degrees warmer."
That's right. Love Pug's lives by you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to go outside if it's below 50. If I just recently took a shower, I'm like an hour or two later, maybe. Yeah, but it's something to do with that cold you just can't shake.
Yeah.
I could read the chat so much better.
Once you get that core temperature going down, that's when it's harder to keep warm.
What is it, my love?
Oh yeah, I bet.
Come say hi.
Yeah, you got a full screen now, huh, Rob?
I'm on.
Yeah.
I'm on. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Raina.
Pappy.
Yeah, I'm here.
And Robert and Chuck.
Hi, Robert. Hi, Chuck.
No pug.
How you doing?
She hadn't gotten to hear Pappy's voice in a while, though, so she was really
As you
excited.
can tell, she's getting more closer to the camera.
Just about time for another breathing treatment for me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go up and do one today too. I had a rough night last night.
is it, my love?
I've just been working. I've been exercising, trying to get in shape.
I'm supposed to be on inhalers and all kinds of stuff, but I quit doing that years ago and got out Buterol with I can't remember what's in it. It's something. But every
Isn't
once in
that-
a while I would go and use the
So
sorry,
that's-
what's that?
Isn't albuterol poison? My wife uses that stuff. I know they say you can't get sick with the sickness if you use it because that kills it.
It keeps it's not poison. It's what they put with it. Albuterol itself is all right.
It's the
It's
glycerin.
it's the glycerin and the steroids they put in it with if you need more than just the albuterol.
Right.
And that's the part that if it goes to the steroid part, I tell the doctor no. No.
She got one replacement.
You have to be careful if you're using an inhaler all the time.
Yeah.
Because,
Right. That's why I stopped doing it.
Yeah, you have to keep those dispensers clean because they will build up Pseudomonas fungus on them.
Yes. Yep.
You know, and
Yep.
You can get a yeast infection in your mouth.
oh yeah,
Wow.
easy to
That's
do.
why when you get done, the best thing to do is way I was taught was once I'm done with my inhalers, when the nurse was teaching me was you go and you brush your teeth, your mouth, your tongue, you brush it, you get it cleaned out. The other thing she said was if I did not stop, but to also when I was done at the end of the day to take my canisters out and then a bowl of vinegar, you put it in the bowl of vinegar, let them swish around for about 5 minutes, you just kind of swash them around. You dump that out, and then you rinse them off with distilled water, and then you pour peroxide all over them and swish them around and let them dry.
Yeah,
See,
seems
I
like a lot
stopped
of
using
work,
my
doesn't
inhalers when I started using this thing. I stopped using the inhalers because they were making me weaker and weaker, and every time I got sick, I got sicker and sicker and sicker.
Oh, so they must put swamp gas in there. I just saw the topic.
somebody told her.
It's all just swamp gas, right?
Somebody told her to pull the cartridge out of hers and then dip it in alcohol after you get done and shake it around, let it dry. And then if you don't feel good about that, dip it in it again before you get ready to use it. Make sure you shake it out before you use it.
Yeah. And while I
So what's the
totally
difference?
love
What's the
Go ahead.
difference between asthma and bronchitis?
asthma is a long-term condition. Bronchitis is like a viral.
Come and go thing
Yeah.
every once in a while.
Now I have chronic bronchitis, and I'm asthmatic, and I used to be on all manner of inhalers, and I came to find out that my using the inhalers for my breathing issues was actually making my lungs even weaker.
Yeah.
It was
And you
making my
rely
bronchial tube weaker.
And you rely on them steroids if any in them.
Yeah, and I already have a hard time with steroids, so I had like 4 different inhalers. One of them was a steroid inhaler. No, 2 of them. My rescue inhaler was a steroid inhaler, and one of my dailies was a steroid inhaler that I was to use as needed. And then I had 2 other inhalers that I was supposed to be using, and I haven't felt so good in years since I've stopped using those inhalers. And now when I get sick, I can beat it quicker. I can beat it easier. It doesn't go directly to my lungs. Like, you can ask my husband. I get sick, and inside of 2 days, my lungs are really congested. You can hear it in my breathing, you know. And then when all this crap happened, right? I actually was Jeff and I both got sick at the beginning of all of the nonsense. And I was still using inhalers then, wasn't I?
Yeah, we were still using. That's when we stopped.
2
And
years
that's-
ago, you come out.
Yep. And
Right when it came out.
and I stopped using my inhalers, and I
all of a
started
sudden you started
using
feeling better.
this only for when I was having breathing issues. I would
Yeah.
inhale with the salt inhaler, and this has I swear it's strengthened my lungs. And I only use it when I'm sick. It's not like I use this every day. I don't need breathing treatments
Right.
every day anymore. I don't need inhalers every day anymore because I stopped using them. And it's like, as time's gone on now, I'm healthier for having stopped. Now I realize not everybody can do that. Not everybody's at a place, where they can do that. But if you start realizing that some of the things that are helping you are also hurting you, and you start looking for alternative ways to take care of your health, you'll find them. You'll find alternative means that maybe won't be as long-term damaging.
Looks like love bugs got off of it, and so did Lucy.
Yeah, I remember being even when I was a kid, I would get pneumonia, double pneumonia, triple pneumonia, or walking pneumonia every year when I was a kid. It was terrible. I would end up in the hospital in those oxygen tents, and
Mom said.
yeah, my mom was doing the best she could. My mom and dad did what the doctors told them, and every year I ended up with pneumonia. Every stinking year, and it would start out as a sneeze, and within 3 days it was in my chest and I couldn't breathe. And then so all my life, basically, I grew up knowing I had breathing problems, knowing I had ear problems, knowing I had all these things. And now it took me until I was in my 40s to understand that there's a different way. You don't have to keep doing things that are going to make it worse and worse and worse and worse. The last time I was sick, I was sick for 3 months, literally, like straight. And that was the last time I was sick. And that's been like 2 years.
Also, strep throat. I had strep throat almost every year, every winter. Now, lemon juice does it. Takes it right away. One tickle in your throat. Grab some Minute Maid, pop with the pulp. It works. Drink a couple gallons, you won't have a sore throat at all.
Yeah.
Well,
And,
this
and
time of
you got.
this time
Go ahead.
this time of year, a lot of people, are developing upper respiratory problems anyway, simply because they spend so much time inside. The lungs are just another muscle that needs to be exercised routinely. We don't think about deep breathing and stuff like that when we're not exercising. So when I get these kind of things, lots of times what I'll do is I'll go outside and really practice expanding my lungs, breathing in and breathing out. It's tough to do, but you've got to do it because otherwise, the shallow breathing doesn't allow a full exhale or even a full inhale. And if you've got any pathogens at all in your sinuses or in your airways and stuff, it's a perfect place for them to just incubate, and then
Yeah.
you get, your sinus infections, your bronchitis, and that can develop, of course, into the pneumonias, so. It's just important. You got to do that. We don't exercise as much like we do in the summertime, run around and stuff like that. So it's something a lot of people don't think about. They got your windows are all closed up, your house is all closed up. You got dry heat going on in your house most of the time. You're
You know
asking
why?
for it.
You know why kids don't often get sick like adults do? Kids don't have any kind of reservation about belly breathing. They take full deep breaths, most of them, and you'll see their little bellies pop out when they're breathing. That's the kind of deep breathing you need to, you know,
Yep.
That and
have
they're
you
exposed to
used to.
everything, putting everything in their mouth, licking their hands constantly. That helps their
Yeah.
immune systems too. We all
It
need to
allows
go
their
lick the garden hose again.
it allows their immune system to get strengthened up because they're getting inoculated.
Let's kill it all.
Well, but Pappy made a very good point. Breathing, the act of conscious breathing can change a lot of things in your life. If you suffer in depression, if you suffer any kind of emotional instabilities or even mental instabilities, the power of breath work can actually make some really big changes in your life. Because what you're doing, if you're doing conscious breath work, then you are oxygenating your blood. You're already just going to start feeling healthier from that. You know, that's not even to mention how much being able to focus on your breath can help your emotional and mental states as well. I mean,
Yeah, I can understand that. Yesterday, I worked myself into a frenzy because I went live on my thing for once on here, and after I killed the show off, somebody a little about 5 minutes later put a message up there that's it's about time that I start my own channel and quit being a burden and being bothering and insulting people and destroying their channel with my presence being on it. I worked myself into a frenzy, so agitated, pissed off, paranoid. I thought myself I was hyperventilating, sorta, and I was like, my blood pressure was up. I was getting chest pains. I knew I was working myself into a heart attack, and I just sat back and was like,
don't want to do that.
Deep breath. I went and deleted the show.
Hey, Chuck, you know what it sounds like to me? You stood up there, ripped your shirt off, and showed everybody where every button was that you had that they could push.
yeah.
What
Now while
bothers
you're
me
still up there, go, oh.
what bothers me is what's bad is they couldn't say it while the show was going. They waited till it was off, and it's
that's
cheap shots. Things people do that they wouldn't do to somebody's face.
Nothing like being in high school again, right?
So I want to say this because swamp gas. Because swamp gas, okay? Swamp gas. It's all swamp gas. All of it. Anybody can have any opinion they want, right? Free will.
Yeah.
Okay? That includes you. That doesn't disinclude you because you're thinking about it from your perspective. And I know a lot of people have problems with that way of thinking, right? They want everybody to have their own opinion, except if it's different from theirs. And that's where we run into this swamp gas. Once you look at it objectively, you say, you know what? Your opinion of me doesn't matter because my opinion of me and the truth that I speak for myself is what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. I don't care what you're doing. Yeah. And therefore, I don't really give two craps about what you really think of me because that's your perception from your perspective, right? That's how you see it from your side of the fire. This is how I see it from my side of the fire. We can agree to disagree, but I don't have to accept your opinion just because it's your opinion, right?
Yeah, that's my motto. Somebody's opinion of me and what they think of me is none of my business. And it really shouldn't affect me because that means that person matters to you if their opinion bothers you.
Yeah. And it's not that you shouldn't take into account, it's not that other people's opinions shouldn't matter because in some ways that's how we grow, right? But in other ways, you have to stop and you have to look through it and say no. All right? I saw bullshit. You're calling it swamp gas. It all smells really, really bad. Yeah. We're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. I'm not going that way anyway. That's not the way I was headed. So good luck airing that out,
Hey, and Chuck, I don't give a shit what you hear, see, or whatever the shit, dude. You're good in my book, my friend. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, appreciate
it. What you hear, see, or shit, none of that shit. It's swamp gas.
Yep, a lot of people don't like it. I guess that I don't eat their bullshit. I think that's the main thing.
And I refuse to participate.
Yeah, like that movie Idiocracy. They couldn't understand why their crops wouldn't grow because they were watering them with Gatorade.
Yeah.
Yep. It's got everything you need. Electrolytes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Look how far we went downhill. Everybody our children and grandkids. Just imagine the next line of people.
Dude.
Yeah.
They don't want us moving around thinking for ourselves. They just want us to stay stationary and plugged in. They'll take care of all of our needs. All we got to do is feed them back what they need.
Yeah. And that is how a system works. Stop feeding it and it won't grow. right?
They love your.
That-
They love your.
That actually works on so many different levels in our lives that not feeding it so it won't grow.
Mhm.
Really, if you are feeling some kind of way about a certain area of your life or a certain place that you go, right? If you go to a restaurant and you get salmonella poisoning from the food you ate there, are you going to keep going back to that restaurant? If you watched a horror show and it scared the living crap out of you, are you going to keep watching that horror show?
My wife was. She used to cover her eyes, but she loves them. I'm like, if you're not watching it, how can you love it?
Well, what I'm saying is it's a conscious choice that we make every day.
Yep.
And with all the energies and stuff that keep getting swirled up and moved about, every day we make decisions about, you know, where we're going to expend our energy. And like them pushing every button you had showed you every button you had. Now,
Except the button, if they'd been in the room with me, I'd probably choked the crap out of them.
No.
and so therein is a small blessing because I hear that inmates are getting mandatory vaccinated now. See, so there's your small blessing, is that they weren't in the room with you. So
There you go. You got a bot.
Got a troll.
Oh, yay. I got it. I
B
got
dogs.
it.
B dogs right there.
Yeah, he usually, I'll let him report it before I block it.
Yeah.
Snag him, B dog.
Don't follow the Judas goat. Right? You have to make the choice. And sometimes you don't have to make the choice in a split-second decision, okay? Split-second decisions don't always serve everyone the same way. So maybe you need to take a couple of days off from certain places and certain peoples that affect you in that manner. And then what you can do is you can make an informed decision about how do I feel? Do I feel better and stronger since I've pulled away from this? Or do I feel like I need to be part of this in order to keep some stream of information coming in? Where did I hear what, Lucy? I'm sorry. I don't always remember the words coming out of my mouth. It's been like 2 minutes ago. But I mean, those are the decisions that we're faced with, and a lot of times, what does the Bill of Rights say? You know, men. Pugs. Yeah, no, I've been hearing that for a long time, and a lot of it was they were using like tactics. But here's the thing about inmates, and I'll just say this. Inmates are legal slaves. They are wards of whatever state they are in. And if they are federal inmates, then they are wards of the District of Columbia, the Institute of the United States. So just so you guys know, there's actually a law out there. Now, they obviously haven't enacted it, but that if we were to ever come into a war scenario, a state of emergency, or a martial law scenario, that they could literally just execute all the prisoners, all the wards of state, and not have to worry about them. So a lot of people don't know that these laws exist. Even the people who are incarcerated don't know them usually. And so it gets on mucky ground because they don't understand that you're not a human being once you're in that part of the system. You are a ward of state. You are owned literally by somebody else who doesn't care about anything but your number and the amount of money that brings in federally every year. So,
well, there's a couple of points I'd like to bring up about what you're talking about, and one is if there are laws that have been written, both moral and legal, and the laws get broken, by breaking the laws, the person has made a decision that allows them to be brought into the judicial system because of that and given a punishment. And once the punishment has been given, almost every case you're going to lose some of, if not most of, your rights because you've given them away through the choice of breaking, the law. You're
Right.
now incarcerated. You don't have your freedom. You're not going to be able to vote. You're not going to be able to do this. You're not going to be able to do that, whatever. Okay. So you are not really considered to be a citizen anymore. Now, that's one aspect of it. The other aspect of it, and I'm going to circle right back to the name of your thing today, swamp gas, is if we take a look at what's going on as far as the craziness in the world right now, where everybody's running around and they've got the filters on their face and they're putting stuff in their bodies to protect them against this, that, and the other thing that really are not to be effective. Okay, what are they trying to filter out? Are they trying to filter out the body's natural immune system to defend itself? It seems that way. So if we take a look at that aspect of it and say, well, what can we do as an individual to boost our immune system, then we also have to have some kind of a filter to filter out the impurities that they're trying to flood us with, the swamp gas.
Yep.
Now, we go back to what we were talking about earlier with the deep breathing. Now, there is a great school of thought and philosophy that has a tendency to think that our breathing, our deep breathing, allows us to take in the energy, or at least the essence, the mana, if you will, the power, the spirit that animates and activates our body. What if the swamp gas is trying to disguise that so that we can no longer take it in? And because we hate the stench of it, we're forgetting to do deep breathing and bring it in. We're forgetting to put the filter across our face that blocks out the swamp gas. So in that context of putting all of those things together that I just mentioned, it comes right down to personal awareness and what you can do about it yourself. The choices that you make, either knowingly or unknowingly, and the discoveries that you uncover about what's going on in your environment around you, and then taking action to do something about it. We keep saying all the time, you're more powerful than you believe. They don't want you to know and discover how powerful you are.
Nope.
They're going to throw a cloud over your head, a bag over your head, a mask over your face. They're going to put plugs in your ears, and they're going to put stuff in your food to make you go one way rather than the healthy way. Do you see how that works? That's the life that we have to negotiate through. We only do that by putting our own filters up and deep breathing that which is best for us with eyes wide open.
There's so much truth in that.
With our fingers out of our ears, and allow our nose to point us to where the stink is so that we can avoid it.
Yep.
Most of the pig farms around the country now are required to have manure pits where they have to collect the manure so they can't, allow it to run into the water and contaminate the water and everything. And every time I've been around them, when you get within 100 yards of a manure pit, you know that you're coming up on a manure pit. And usually where there's stink, there's crap. Okay?
Yep.
Yes.
It's an unwise person that keeps walking to where the stink is and wades right into it, I'm sure.
Well, and that's really vital that you said that, Pappy, because it is about self-awareness. It is about being consciously aware of your surroundings, of what you're doing, of what you're exposing yourself to. But even just not even on just the physical health, but hear me really well, guys. This is also about your mental health and your emotional health too, because they will keep pumping out swamp gas and telling you this and telling you that, because that fear porn is part of their programming unit, right? They need you to be afraid so that you're easily controlled. And that is a part of it as well, right? Fear is caused by a lot of things. Fear can be caused by pain, illness, loss, right? So any of the things that they tell you are to help you perceive things in a very low vibration, and they're counting on you not being self-aware. They're counting on you being part of their programming still. And Lucy said it, they're not afraid of us because we're not following a certain medical regimen. They're afraid because we're free thinkers.
Yeah, that's a little point I was going to try to make on something.
Yeah, go ahead.
The intravenous treatment that they impose on everybody that they're wanting us to take, it rewires our biological build we have to allow the ingredients in that to basically set us up as remote control. And I've done some reading on some things that they could shut down the zombie part of us that cause us to age and revert it. So if they can do that, what else can they do?
Exactly. Well, and you know what? Here's not the question. What else can they do is not the question we should be asking ourselves, because that's still us looking outside. What we should be asking, what can we do
to stop? Yeah.
What can we do to strengthen ourselves, to boost our immunity, to walk away, to do whatever it takes? What can we do? Because that's part of how we take our power back too. If you're not asking that question of yourself, are you still giving away your power, your energy to something else?
Well,
I don't know if you guys are aware of it. You are the pine needle tea, even without our intravenous exposure, just our natural exposure through food and breathing in the atmosphere and everything else. Pine needle tea is supposed to reverse that.
Yep.
There's
Sumarin so many things out there.
Yep.
And
Sumarin is
answering your question, Heather, the question you just asked,
mm-hmm.
what can people do about it? Is the first thing they can do about it is say to yourself, I am me. I am not who you say I am.
That's right.
I am not me.
Yep.
I am.
I am not your me.
Exactly.
And
I am not under any obligation to make anybody else happy. That doesn't mean I don't enjoy making other people happy. It just means I'm under no obligation to do so.
Sad way of looking at it is we hired and pay these people to tell us what to do, and they got that backward.
Yep, and they're jiggling all the way to the bank too.
Because I've even run across doctors. Well, if you're not going to listen, then I'm not going to treat you. Well, there's one of the problems right there. It means you're not willing to listen to my side either. You just want me to follow you.
Part of the system.
The Hippocratic Oath went out the window, 20 years ago?
Oh, probably even, yeah. It's some point in that time, yeah. Yeah, it just depends on which and when, and what deep, dark person would do that to make that happen.
But
here, y'all
if you think about it, we're taught our whole lives about the control system, right? We're taught our whole lives that the government has this control or that control or the other control. And aren't we all to a point now where we stand up and we say, no.
Well, a lot of us are. A lot of us are.
Yeah.
But certainly not all of us.
And I mean, all of it's a system. The whole, you guys know, I feel very strongly about that. So I won't even jump on that because, um, you know, I tend to get carried away with it. But from one end of the spectrum to the other, even the medical, all right, it's not that I'm saying that Western medicine hasn't done really wonderful and great life-saving things, because it has. Okay, my dad had a pacemaker for the last year or 2 years of his life,
Ooh,
and
well,
that
it was
saved his life.
3 years.
You know, so I'm not dogging Western medicine, but what I'm saying is it's a system, just like the rest of this, just like the currency, just like the government, just like the justice system. I won't call it
Western medicine is
a
good. It's just how they do
well,
it.
actually, I should be calling it the legal system, not the justice system, because as Chuck pointed out earlier, they are not actually the same thing.
Yep.
Oh, another one.
Yep.
Someone
I got the
please-
last one. I reported it while somebody blocked it or kicked it.
Okay, good,
Yep.
good. Just do
Somebody
the same
report
thing
them,
again.
and I'll block
Please.
them. But
Thank you.
I can't. If I block them, you can't report them. So I got to wait till after the reporting's done.
I got them reported.
Awesome.
Good.
Thank you. Appreciate you
Pornography
guys.
is my best one to go with, I guess.
Hey, I'm figuring this out.
That or just spam.
I got him.
All right.
You get him, Robert?
Yeah, because it's not letting me block him.
I
now.
got. I'm using my phone and the computer. I got
Oh,
it.
you guys
See?
all rock.
There you go. See,
You guys, look at him.
man, Robert, you're
Lucy
getting
got
into
him too. Bulldog got him too. Oh, I'm sorry, B-Dog. Oh, I
Well,
always
pretty
You
soon
think my
Robert's gonna be
icon big? Look at this.
He's gonna
This
be a
is
master
not
gamer
word
pretty
for you.
soon.
Yeah.
that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna get me an Xbox soon.
Hey, I want to interject here real quick. Okay, Love Pug, you tell that little granddaughter of yours that Pappy says hi and he sends her a big hug.
Heather, can you make my icon big? My offline or off-camera
Yep,
icon?
yep.
I think you guys appreciate that.
Hold on here. Let me.
It doesn't work.
Communism don't like
Words of Frank Zappa. Communism
People like to
doesn't
own
work
stuff.
because people like
Frank
to own
Zappa.
stuff.
it. That's right.
I love Frank Zappa. That's funny. Oh,
I seen that and I'm like, yeah, I need to save that.
yep. Well, none of these isms. They're all the isms are control mechanisms. All those
Yeah.
isms. Capitalism, communism, terrorism, all the
Look at
isms.
the big push for Nisara Kasara, you know. All your debts will be forgiven and you won't have to work and you'll have a steady income and you won't own a thing and you'll be happy.
Mm.
That
Yep.
sounds that sounds a little swamp gaseous to me.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so on that note, Pappy,
after me and
anybody
Pappy
that's
work
got
our
a
ass off.
free time and a little bit of curiosity, go look up how to make earth batteries. Go ahead. I think you'll be mightily surprised at the correlations. We'll say it that way.
Yeah.
Here's a little joke here. Isn't part of your swamp gas thing. You know, swamp gas is combustible. So it can backlash and burn them.
Well, that's as long as you put the match where the source is.
Swamp gas give them swamp ass.
Pretty much the same thing.
Yep.
Problem is, you know, if you use your nose to follow the swamp gas where it comes from, you know you're going to be like the dog that's never in the lead on the dog sled. You know what scene you're going to see, aren't you?
Yep.
It don't change either.
No.
Follow your nose around that swamp gas.
Everywhere you look, you see an ass.
Well, and that's the thing about swamp gas is it is literally everywhere and in everything. It's permeated quite a bit of our society, and quite a bit of the way we all think. And, when we start pulling away from it, we really will find an entirely different way of thinking and seeing and understanding things.
Yep. You know,
Once we're
let, let,
stop
you know, a
looking
good
through the green
example.
veil.
You know a good example of that, Heather? Now, I was born and raised and worked on a farm, you know, and the farm has some unique smells. After a while, you don't smell them. But, you know, if you don't change your clothes when you go someplace else, they know what business you're in
This is
because
true.
they can smell it,
You get
you
nose
know, and yeah. And so all this stuff this stink that's been coming upon us over the last years, at least in our lifetimes and stuff, we've gotten used to it. It's not supposed to be there. Okay. But we're used to it. Okay. Some people now are starting to develop a sense of smell and awareness of that smell, that stink. And they do that by raising their awareness, you know, and their frequency and stuff above it. It changes our perception. It changes everything, you know.
Yes.
But there's a whole lot of people out there that are walking in the stink and they don't know they're stinking.
like a
Just the
buddy of
way they
mine
are.
told me, he said, we're standing in the middle of the fire. And majority of people can't tell there's a fire because they're standing in it. They're from a back away perspective, and it's like, hey, you're standing in fire, move.
Yep.
So how
They
do we become the
introduced all
bellows to
this
blow away the smoke? Or should we?
step back and take another perspective. Always be aware of your surroundings. The way they got away with all this stuff is they introduced it so minutely and so slowly. It was all blended in as normal, and nobody looked at it.
Exactly. It was widely accepted, so you should do it too.
It's
And
like here,
that's how we came to groupthink that was poisonous to us. The
We're giving
groupthink
you
that our
this-
society has now, and I say this very generally, but the groupthink that our society has now is you should feel the way I feel, think the way I think. And if you don't, well, maybe we'll let you hang around the fringe until we convince you. But if we can't convince you, well, then you just don't belong here. And it's sad to say, but this type of groupthink exists everywhere.
Yeah.
Literally everywhere.
Well, what you're starting to see a little bit though is some people are saying we're trapped and we don't like it, where other people are saying are other people are trapped and they don't know they're trapped. But some of those people are saying we're trapped and you're not trapped. How come you're not trapped and how come you're not in here with us? You know, so
Yeah.
they try to demonize the ones that are not trapped, and they will attack the ones that discover that they are trapped and are trying to get away.
Yeah.
Misery loves company.
Exactly.
Isn't that the truth? And
And
that too is a system. All those real low vibrations, it's not that they're not necessary. They are a necessary catalyst. If you allow them to be a catalyst, they can move you upwards and onwards. They can move you forward through this journey. But if you sit and wallow in them like a lot of us are taught to do, or some people turn their woe is me's into manipulations. And some of them do it for money. Some of them do it for the attention. Some of them do it for what they perceive to be emotional support because it's the only way they know how to ask for help, and they're not really asking. See, so while I understand all that, sometimes that kind of stuff pushes my buttons because even though I know not everybody sees from outside of the cloud of swamp gas, that's where I see it from. And so from my perspective, why can't you see this, you know? And
Well,
I know that about myself,
you
and I
know,
accept that about myself, because when I do that, I can keep it in check and understand that that is what I'm doing. And I try to use that as a catalyst to move myself forward and out of those emotions.
very much so. We have been put into a position of codependency. Okay,
Yep.
where the situations are created that create all the division, emotions, and all that other stuff that it elicits within us, all the misery that's been elicited within us, because it feeds that which created it. Okay, and if that which has created it is giving you your basic necessities to continue living in that condition, then the codependency happens up because they're not able to stand up on their own 2 feet and break away from that and no longer feed the system. That's where people are waking up now. People are saying, I ain't feeding this shit no more.
I know. It's funny.
They're not, they're stopping the big box stores. They're not supporting the ones that are doing all the political correctness, mind changing sort of stuff, and they're marching with their wallets. They're marching with their feet. Hell, they're even marching with the U-Haul trailers out of the states they don't like anymore.
Yeah.
It is happening, but it's not happening fast enough, but it is happening.
I got to get out of here, guys. I got somebody knocking. I'm going to see who it is, and I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, Chuck.
Okay.
Stay
All right,
cool,
well-
brother.
Patrick, you have a good day.
Love y'all.
Yeah.
Bye.
Take care, bro.
Love ya. Have a good one.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Have a good day, sir.
I'm going to jump out too because I have to go get my breathing treatment here. So,
All right.
All
Pappy.
right, that sounds good. I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. So if you guys got some final thoughts, that would be lovely. Because I've got to get dinner going.
well, let me go first. Okay, since I'm still here. This whole thing has been an awakening process for a lot of people on a lot of different levels. And they're all approaching it different ways. We're all approaching it different ways. Okay, and we're all slowly getting there. Okay, we gotta continue to help the process along. There's going to be some bumpy sections where we go through, and there's going to be some antsy moments, even between us, perhaps as individuals and stuff. And we have to get over those things as we go forward. Okay. But the change has started. Facilitate the change within yourself first, because from there you can be the change as an example to others to look at. Okay, so be the change. Walk away from the stink. Don't plug your nose because it's important that you smell the stink. Okay, but it's also important that you don't have to walk in it. Okay, remember that you are I am, not who you think I am.
Right.
Blessings,
Thank you,
everybody.
We've truly missed you. I love you. I hope to talk to you later.
Have a good one.
You too, Pappy. Love you.
Go ahead, big brother. Anything?
No, just walk around like Pappy said. Don't sit there and breathe the swamp gas. Walk around it. Get away from it.
Right. In Ohio, I don't know about other places, but in Ohio, we learn from being children how to smell a snake. And once you know what a snake smells like, you never forget. And that's a protective measure, right? And I believe that's like a ancestral memory that the entire human race has that a lot of people have just forgotten. But there's a reason that when you smell skunk, you go another way in the woods.
Yeah. Good to see everybody in chat too. You guys, blessings to all of you. Have a blessed evening.
Yes, and love and light to you all. I really missed it. You guys have such great discourse. I love y'all. Have a great day, and we will hopefully have a show tomorrow. I don't know if we're going to stick with the 2:00 time or what, so watch out for us sometime in the afternoonish. Love y'all. Have a great day.
Love y'all.